Hey you guys, I'm going to do a real quick video. This is going to be another one of those, but I wanted to finish up on the money changers. I wanted to talk to you about the Department of Energy. When they said that Barack Obama was going to be in trouble for what he did, and we all knew he was doing it, I thought to myself, well, they're just building everything up. They're holding on to that Epstein case. They're going to hit him with everything. One of the things that people aren't aware of is the Department of Energy. The Department of Energy, and if I bring a few things up to you, you're going to recall it, and you're going to go, oh my God, that's right. So the Department of Energy was one of the departments that probably had the most money laundering. I don't have any evidence on it. It's just that I follow, the spending and the budgets, and I see where money's going. So under Barack Obama, I believe it was $446 billion that was sent out to all these companies. Do you remember that? Do you remember when they had all of, it was the big scare, we've got to have the solars, and we've got to have the panels, and we've got to have this, and we've got to have that, and we've got to save the planet, and all that. It started under Barack Obama. Anyhow, it was called the American Recovery and Reinvestment Acts. It was in 2015. I certainly remember, because all those money that got billions and billions and millions of dollars, they all went bankrupt and nobody was held accountable for that money. And I said right then and there, it was a money laundering scheme. Barack Obama was saying, well, they're new companies and this is new and you can't expect every company. Well, you know what? Then you shouldn't have gave them that money. But I did go back and I looked up all of those companies, and I think that I counted all together that I found was like 18 of them, and 14 of them were foreign countries, and I think I could positively identify 11 of those countries were, I don't know how to say it, they weren't Christians that owned the company, and they weren't Jewish people either. That's all I'm going to say. So I followed that trail. Now, if I can do this, and I'm just a citizen who pays taxes and pays attention, I'm also a Christian. I biblically look at everything through the biblical eye. So I started looking into it. Barack Hussein Obama was, that name alone tells me that they weren't for the best interest of America, and he tried to destroy it from within. Department of Energy was a good way to funnel money, and everybody bought into the Green New scam, and it's a hoax. Trump's called it a hoax. We know it was a hoax. So Obama did this and started it. Billions of dollars was wasted and spent. And then Trump came into office. It was kind of cut back, scaled back. It was cut back a lot. And then we had the puppet come in here, Biden. Now, Biden's Department of Energy sent out $93 billion in 76 days. What 76 days did he send it out in? From the day that Trump was elected in November until January of this year, January 20th, when Trump took over the office. $93 billion out the window to these companies. And these companies don't have a business plan. They didn't have to provide nothing. All you do is like make a name and, I don't know, get a doing business as number, and then you're just having money sent to you. This is all going to be investigated because it's been money laundering. You look at Burisma. You remember what happened when the Bidens were under investigation. The Bidens' whole family was under investigation with Ukraine and Burisma. So this has been going on for quite a while. The Burisma was bringing attention, remember? And they were looking at these shell companies. And then you had, Biden bragging about having one of the prosecutors, terminated from his job. And then his son was on the... It's not over. People think that they gave up. No, they didn't. It's just like the Epstein files. They put it on a shelf because they're going to clump it all together and they're going to hit them hard because the cabal is involved with all of it. Epstein, they're involved with this money laundering that they've been using the Green New scam to do it under. And Burisma, all of that. Listen, some of those pardons are going to be good, but it isn't going to cover everybody. And the cabal is going down. The other thing I wanted to tell you about in New York State, so I'm talking to New Yorkers, right? In New York State, we have Kathy Hochul, who took down and closed down one of our nuclear power plants. Now, here it is 2 years later. It's coming up on election. She knows she's failing because we're all struggling paying utilities. I know I am. And they cannot put up the new housing that they want to put up, which is government subsidized housing or low-income housing, because in the local areas that they're trying to build these housing projects at, they can't build them because the electric grid would not support them. So they're being denied building low-income housing because the electric grid is not going to support these housing, and we need housing, right? So you can't build if you don't have electricity to support the housing. Now she's talking about opening up another, get this, nuclear power plant. So she closed one, and she's going to open another one. Why did she close that one? Why did she close that one? and now she wants to open another one. She closed that one because she didn't have her foot in the door, but if she's going to open another one, that's just another place to start money laundering at under the guise of nuclear power. So there's other stuff. It's called renewable energy, and I will be doing a video on that, and I'll be able to come up with receipts. This is another scam on New Yorkers, which is going to be another big money laundering. You close down one nuclear power plant to later on open up another one and make investments. Billions is going to be taken from the taxpayer money. Billions is going to be taken from us. It's just going to be another money laundering scheme. Obama did it. Newsom's doing it. I will tell you about Newsom in New York, how they're connected in my next video, and I can't wait to get it out. I just hope God frees up my time so I can get to these plants and get to talk to the people. Newsom's doing it in California. These people are becoming rich, rich, rich. It's just kind of like Letitia James getting $10 million for her personal legal fees, going to a law firm by the name of Dave Polk, and Kathy Hochul's husband all of a sudden just started working there. It's money laundering, and we are the victims of it, so we have to wake up and pay attention. The other thing I wanted to say was, if you don't mind me saying, I am a conservative Christian. I always put stuff into biblical perspective is how I see stuff, and I listen to Christian news and Christian broadcasting, but I try to put it into a worldly, because not everybody reads the Bible. But I wanted to mention to you about the money changers. There was a while ago I done a video, and I said that God was going to come after the money changers. Kathy Hochul's a money changer. She's another one that's coming in to destroy this country and destroy our state, I'm sorry. And so I was going to speak to the conservatives. The conservative people, your voice is so important, but not always, especially in New York, do we get a conservative choice to vote for. So a lot of the conservatives has been registering as Republicans because it's usually two Republicans if there's going to be a primary, but not two conservatives. So you can always vote who you want to in the election, but when it comes to the primaries, the conservatives cannot vote in the primary of the Republicans, and sometimes that's the only choice you're going to get. So I want to encourage you to look around. If you don't have a conservative running and you want to have a voice, which we need your voice in the primaries, please register as a Republican so that you can vote in our primaries. People don't think the primaries are important, but they're very important because our legislators are the ones that are going to be writing the laws for the state that we have to abide by. And if we have corrupt ones in there or liberal ones in there, we're not going to be able to get good laws in New York State. And those are the laws that the governor is supposed to follow, but sometimes, they just do their own thing. But those are the ones with the biggest backbone, so it does matter. And then when you look at the mayor races too, those are important. Look at New York City. They are trying their hardest to get their hands on New York City. New York State is the epicenter for like Wall Street investments, all of that. They take New York City down, it's going to hurt this country, not just New York State. It's going to hurt the country. So we need to really pay attention. And then you look at, they just voted in another mayor in Minneapolis. I forget, I think it's in Minnesota. I'm not exactly sure. But then you got another one that won a primary. That's a Muslim, and that's not going to be good. He gave his whole speech and his thank you speech in a foreign language, I think from Somalia. So you guys, this isn't good. Now look at Pete Buttigieg. He was a mayor. He was a mayor, and he was a crappy mayor, but he was a homosexual, and that's all they cared about, and they puffed him up and they put him in Department of Transportation. He made a disaster out of that job. So these mayors do matter because they go from local jobs to state jobs into federal jobs. So it does matter. So if you're a conservative and you're concerned about New York State, I don't think we have any conservatives running on any ballots. Register so that you can participate in the primaries. All right. Thank you all so much for listening. God bless you. Have a good day.